Come on, YouTube. All right, ready?
Mhm.
We live.
Welcome back to another episode of the Love and Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Wendy O, and this is my co-host, Hotep Jesus.
Yo,
How you
well,
how you doing tonight?
I'm great. If you love the thumbnail, the beautiful new thumbnail we have, and you think Wendy looks great, press 1 in the chat, drop a 1 in the comment section. Wendy, what's up, man? Long time no see. What you been up to? Conquering the crypto world.
Dude,
What happened?
you put a dusty ass picture of me with my shiny ass big old forehead. My hair, I haven't washed my hair since not this Monday, but the Monday before, because I had to get it done. And when I get it done in the salon, they put the stuff in it so it doesn't get dirty. I think it's because they blow dry it. I don't know.
Your hair
But
doesn't look dirty. And you think Wendy
it's
looks...
so dirty. I'm washing it tonight. I never go this long without washing it.
We can't tell.
Well,
It doesn't look dusty.
okay.
Usually it looks dusty, but tonight it doesn't look dusty.
Oh my God. There's so much to talk. Okay. So there's a lot to talk about.
So catch me up on where you been.
Okay. So last week, the reason why I didn't come last week is because I got a call to go to Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. Okay.
Phoenix,
and
Arizona.
What happened?
Well, these people that I know, they bought this facility in Phoenix, Arizona to go ahead and make it's called the Club FOMO, or the FOMO Club. And it's basically like for NFT people, for artists, they want to kind of fix the little neighborhood up in Phoenix. So they're like, okay, come out. Like if you come out and you come to the opening party, like we'll cover your flight, we'll cover your hotel, which, that happens pretty often. When anytime I get invited somewhere, people cover that. They're like, we'll cover your food, whatever. They says, but if you come out, we'll take you to go see Snoop.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Yeah, so Snoop is going to come to this opening thing. And I was like, okay. So I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't really want to go because I'm tired. Like, I'm literally tired. I'm a mom. I've got so much stuff going on. And then Raider was like, you have to go. He's like, it's good networking. He's like, you have to go. I was like, I hate you. I don't want to go right now. And then the guy's like, and the funny thing about it is the guy was like, that organized everything, George, he's like, if you go, he's like, we'll put you on a private flight with Snoop's son and their team. And I was like, so I was like, okay. And I don't really know these people super well, but I'm like, whatever. Like I do what I want to do. Like I'm untouchable. Like,
so you got high on the plane.
Well,
with Snoop Doggy Dog?
No, what happened was they wanted to put me on the private flight. But the issue with that was I couldn't take my baby to school the next morning. So I told them no, and I booked my own flight. I had them reimburse me.
That little motherfucker could walk. It's a Snoop Dogg we talking about.
So I neglected to go on the private flight.
Oh, man.
Snoop wasn't there. It was his son, Cordell. He was super nice. Like I met their entire team. Really, really great people. Okay. I've got some things that I want to work on with them, some charitable things that I want to do with them. So we're going to do that eventually. But the whole event was really cool. I got to go to Phoenix, check out the club opening. And then we went to, I met Snoop wasn't there, but then I went back to the hotel with everybody. Then we were all at the pool. I'm out sitting out there in my bathrobe because it was hot and I just was too lazy. So I'm out there in my bathrobe because we were all going to go and because it was a big public pool, but we decided not to go to the pool, but they had the best fries there. They had the best fries. It had like this lemon aioli sauce. It was really, really good. And before you say anything, I had his whole entire team try the fries and they agreed that it was really, really good fries. So we hung out, we talked, whatever, and then got ready. We went to the Snoop concert. They brought me backstage. I got to be on backstage, whatever. So I got to meet everybody. I got to hang out. Then I went and I met Snoop. He reminds me of my father-in-law in real life.
How so?
Because he was he was on stage doing his thing, but he just has that dad. I didn't talk to him for a whole lot, but he just really reminded me of father-in-law because I know he was smoking, and that reminds me of my father-in-law because my father-in-law likes to drink and smoke too. So he's just like that. He's just got that chill vibe, whatever. So, but the cool thing is on probably the coolest part was I got to meet the team. They were super cool. But in the car ride home, Corrupt and his wife and their son got to drive home with us. So I got to meet him and I met his wife, super nice lady. And it was just a really great time. I love Corrupt. I love all that G-Funk stuff.
So you're like an honorary member of Death Row Records now. Wendy O's death row now. What's going on? Oh my God.
It was fun, it was fun. But the cool thing is they know, like they frequent Pomona where the self-care lab was. So we're going to try to do something for them to help them because we're still looking for a freaking spot. It's been an absolute nightmare. Like some more drama happened. But they knew, but like they were talking about, I met this gentleman. I forgot what his name was, but his grandma owns a restaurant and she's like 98 and she's still in there cooking and stuff. And so they all got chicken and waffles, but then they were talking about they go to Pomona, they hang out in Pomona. I was like, oh, well, do you know Day Days? And they're like, how do you know Day Days? I says, I lived in Pomona. Day Days is like, if you ever go to Pomona, California, Day Days, like people always talk about Roscoe's. They love Roscoe's. Roscoe's food is bland compared to Day Days. Day Days has the best chicken and waffles ever. They have Kool-Aid there. They have everything. And there's another place in Pomona, Donahue's, but Donahue's chicken tastes more like Roscoe's chicken. Day Days is way better. So shout out to Day Days.
Shout out to Day Days. That good old West Coast. Is this soul food?
It's soul food. Like, yeah, it's legit soul food.
Day Day's soul food. You said makes Roscoe's chicken and waffles taste bland?
Yes.
I had Roscoe's chicken and waffles. It wasn't all that, I think the hype was bigger than the taste. Or maybe it's just the location I went to.
Well, yeah, people say you have to go. I think it's in, is it in Inglewood? I don't know if they have one there, but I've been to the Hollywood one and it's okay. But they're like, I feel...
Yeah, I think that's...
You probably, yeah, but Day Days is way better. Like you have to go in the neighborhoods because like the Hollywood one, that stuff gets like it gets kind of whitewashed, so it's not
like
as
that
good.
out here. You ever went to IHOP?
Yeah, IHOP.
Okay, so you can go to IHOP, but if you go to IHOP in Newark, right across the street from I want to say University Hospital, I think it's UMDNJ. They got an IHOP there, but the IHOP has a soul food menu.
Does it?
The IHOP they got an IHOP menu, then they got a soul food menu. So you say, yo, bring me the soul food menu, and it got everything on there. And I'm telling you, it is slamming. Oh, we used to stop there for after parties. Yeah, it's right in Newark. Yup. We used to stop there 2-3 o'clock in the morning and get you some, sweet potato, mac cheese, fried chicken, fried whiting, green beans, rice and gravy. Oh man, it's like Thanksgiving at 3 a.m. It's beautiful.
Do they have a Kool-Aid dispensary in that IHOP?
Yes. Well, it's not a Kool-Aid dispensary, but I believe they do serve Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Or some other variation of a diabetic drink.
Okay, so that was, and then I've got some more stuff coming up, but I need to hear about, because I see, like I'm on the internet and I see you going viral again. I'm like, this Hotep Jesus guy is back on Joe Rogan again. What is going on?
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you that was gonna happen.
No.
Yeah, I kept it a secret. I've known about that for months. I kept it a secret. I didn't tell anybody. Actually, the only people that knew were the Men of Order crew. If you were in Men of Order, you knew that was coming up. Pretty much like the week I found out. Everybody else kept it a secret from. I don't know why I kept it a secret from people. I think it's just more fun and just surprise people. Like, hey, look what I just did, And also, like, I'm a big fan of, instead of having like an album rollout, just drop the fucking album. If it's dope, people will talk about it. If it's not, then they won't, So I'm just like, let's just drop the episode, and when people when it comes out, we'll see the people's reaction and we can go from there, right? But yeah, it was a good time, man. I got to hang out with Rogan. He's a really fucking cool ass dude. Genuine and real as hell. Kind. He didn't have to have me on the show. He had me on the show. He had a really good conversation. I just wish I would have matched his vibe. I was too fucking serious, man. Like, looking back, I'm like, why was I so fucking serious? I should have been like kicking it, I should have hit the blunt 10 more times, and we should have had more fun. I feel like I should have had more fun during the episode.
Well, he'll have you back on again, but I think that because I watched some of it or listened to some of it, your demeanor was on point though, because I feel like he had you on for your expertise, for your self-education, for your critical thinking, and I think that the vibe was a good fit. It was a good vibe for what you guys, for the whole thing.
Yeah, I came with Brian Sharp showed up. Hotep Jesus wasn't there, right? And in hindsight, I'm like, no, I should have been the funny banter guy, and We should have got high and we should have talked massive shit and just made people laugh. Next time I'm going to be less uptight. I felt like Joe was trying to tell me, like, bro, I don't want to talk about this serious shit. Why are you so serious? Shut the fuck up. You know, let's have fun. Like, life can be fun too. And I'm just up there like being a tightwad. So I don't know. People said they enjoyed the episode. So if the people were happy, then I'm happy.
I don't know. I feel like you're a voice for the people sometimes, and I feel like people look to you when they need guidance, as a sense, because everybody is so divided right now. Like let's face it. Look at everything that's happening in the world. Like, we went from this 2-year period where nobody could breathe. Yeah. Then we went to riots. Then we went to money printing, and then there were so many things that were happening in that 2-year period. Yeah. That I feel like people don't know who to look up to. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They're feeling insecure. Like we're in the middle. We're going to get into a recession. We're going to create a digital dollar. We're like, are we at war with Ukraine? Or like, or not us, but like, is that conflict still happening? Like, what's happening in Korea? And now we had this tragedy that happened this week. Yeah. You know, they've canceled. Yeah. And last week they're canceling women. Now we have the formula shortage, which is a direct attack on women's healthcare. That's what it is. That's what I'm calling it. And people need somebody they can look to that's going to be like, listen, this is what happened. This is what I think. Listen to what I say, but make your own decision based off of your own findings. So I think that people needed you.
Back up. You said that it's an attack on women's health.
The formula shortage is a direct attack on women's health.
You can't just gloss over that point. You got to explain that.
All right, let's get into this topic. We all know that we have the Roe versus Wade issues that are occurring right now. People are, they're up in arms. Everybody's freaking out about it. Yeah. And some people say my body, my choice. Other people say it's MUR, whatever. There's all these, everybody's butting their business into it. And a lot of men are butting their business into it. And some men that are not fathers, that are not even directly related to these women that are making this decision are butting their business. And it's not their goddamn business. It's really, really not. Like, if I decide that that's what I want, and I'm not saying I support it. What I'm saying is, if I decide that that's what I need to do for my body, and I have some dude that lives in a different state telling me that I don't even know, telling me what I can and can't do with my body, that's not his damn business. He's not directly
You're talking about abortion.
Talk about abortion. So we have that whole issue going. Everybody's trying
So before you proceed, you are pro-choice?
I feel it's hard. It's a hard topic for me. I'm on the fence. I feel like if there was a wrongdoing that was done to the woman, or if it's a crucial health issue, that she should be able to make that choice. Like, if there was
let's take those extraneous circumstances out the way. This is an irresponsible little bitch. I'm sorry. An irresponsible female woman who has elected to forego Plan B is now fully blown pregnant.
How pregnant are we talking about?
We're talking about 5 months pregnant.
Not at 5 months. That's ridiculous.
6 months?
That's ridiculous. It's too far along.
7?
No.
8?
No.
9?
I feel like
what's the cutoff?
I feel like, what, a month or 2 months? Like, why do you need to wait after that? Why do you need to wait all the way that far? Why can't you just get the morning after pill? Why?
That's the big argument, right? It's about late-term abortion.
The late-term abortion is disgusting. It's wrong. That is murder to me.
Yeah, it seems a little wild to me too. When I seen that, I'm like, wait, you're how far along getting an abortion?
Why don't you? No. Anyways, let's get back to this. So we know that people are still having children. Then that's their business. People are bringing kids in this world. That's their business. Yeah. The leading cause of death in women up until about 50, 60 years ago was childbirth.
Right.
Okay. And then for different cultures or different races, they were treated different things happen. So we know all that business. And we also now, because we're in the 21st century or whatever century we're in, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore. I really, really don't, because today a woman is not a woman. And being born a woman doesn't make you a woman now, apparently, whatever it is. So, but anyways, and I have a daughter, so I need to speak out on these things. So now we know about postpartum depression. And we know that when a woman, a brand new mother, is suffering through postpartum depression, she might not produce milk. We know that there's some biological things that do cause women to not produce milk. We know that some women are not able to produce milk at all. Their body just doesn't do it. We also know that sometimes bonding with the baby might be hard and the woman might not, there's different reasons why a female might not want to produce milk, or maybe her breasts are so swollen and bleeding and cut up and hurt from the baby nursing that you might need to put in a little bit of formula because, the woman, because that happened to me when I first started nursing. I didn't know what I was doing. So I was bleeding. I was in a lot of pain. I had to get the shield, like all kinds of stuff happened. And we know that, and I also will tell you, when you want to get a breast pump after you have your baby, instead of them just letting you leave the hospital with a breast pump, they make you go home and call the number and have it shipped to you. So they make it hard. They make it kind of
breast pump you got.
Well, I had a Medela, but I went and I bought a brand.
The one they sent you.
No, they don't. They send you
that little hand one you go like this with.
No, they sent some other weird one that was like weird, and I was like, no, I'm not using this.
So you had the wireless joint.
No, I would. But when they came out with the wireless one right after I had my daughter, so I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It was like $500, and I was poor. Yeah. So I paid like $300 for the Medela. And they don't send you home with it. You actually have to call and you have to sit on a hotline and then they send it. And as a woman, when you leave that hospital after you give birth, you're tired, you're hurting, you're bleeding, you're just not in a good state of mind. It's like they should let you go home with it. So first off, that's problematic for me. So to me, when I look back at all of these things, they also don't have a whole lot of support for brand new mothers that are nursing or want to breastfeed. Like they do, but they don't. And the fact that we have a breast formula, or we have a formula shortage, infant formula shortage. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? It is a direct attack on women and children, because if a woman cannot nurse, then she has to go to formula. And some of the reasons why she might not be able to nurse are health reasons or health concerns. Also, too, if you're HIV positive, they recommend you not nurse your child because there can be blood mixed in with the breast milk.
So how is the shortage an attack on women's health? Because
the breastfeeding is part of women's health. If a woman cannot breastfeed, how can she feed her child?
Somebody else's breast milk.
Breast milk's expensive.
Make it.
If you cannot make it, and there's no formula, your child doesn't make it.
You just got a dead motherfucker.
Right. So how is this not an attack on children's health and women's health care? It's more attack on women's health care. You cannot, and how would you then that goes, if you're a brand new mom, you cannot produce milk and you're dead set on breastfeeding your child. Cause that happened to me. I got even more depressed and I suffered from even more postpartum because I wasn't making milk.
Yeah.
So then that goes to a mental health issue. So literally what they're doing, they're making women feel very uncomfortable. They're making us feel pressured, and they're taking away something that we need to ensure our child's health, or that our child survives.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like a whole big thing, and people are not seeing that. Like the fact that they let both parties, the fact that they let it get to this point, that we have formula in Mexico, but we don't have formula in the United States. What's happening here? Why don't we have formula for our children? Why are we not feeding our children? Why are we not taking care of our women that just gave birth? Why are we not prioritizing women's health? The same reason why we don't give a whole lot of maternity leave. You get 3 months, you have to come back to work, regardless of what shape you're in.
That's why everybody need 2 goats in their backyard.
Well, that's right. You're going to have to. I'm being serious. Like this is the way that I see it. I feel like it's a direct attack on women's health. We have these people that want to we have men that want to transition into women, that are telling women that they're not real women, that our periods don't matter, that our mammograms don't matter, our PAPs don't matter. All of these things don't matter. And, they're taking up some of our healthcare services. And now we have a formula shortage and nobody cares.
Pour some whole milk in that motherfucking bottle and add some water.
But that's not good for the baby though.
Go out to make do.
Exactly. But then that's going to cause, then that's going to cause cause stomach issues. It causes all kinds of issues with the baby.
Yeah, well, that little motherfucker is gonna have to fart a little bit. He gonna be a little retarded. It's okay. He's an American. It'll fit right in.
So this is my gripe. This is my problem. This is what I'm upset about. Is I'm just so sick of women getting pushed. Like men want not you. I'm not, well, you're on the fence with this one, but men want women to be like the stay-at-home moms. Take care of the household, whatever it is. Oh, whatever your hijabs, whatever you want. But we can't even do that because there's no formula.
Somebody Photoshop a hijab on Wendy O. Let's see how she looks.
So people are, and then what's going to end up happening? People are going to start. I'm waiting for the damn riots to happen over the formula.
When you have food shortage, violence usually comes next.
Well, at this point, it's like people got more upset over BLM and they're writing for BLM and all this stuff. But like, where's the riots for the formula shortage that's impacting our women and children? This impacts everybody, not just whatever. I don't even know. At this point, I'm just like, I'm so done. I'm so happy. I'm done having kids. No more kids for me. It's like, and what's going to end up happening is the poor people are going to get hit the hardest on this. And they're going to be the ones that are going to go out robbing and doing whatever they can to feed their families. And the rich people are going to get lit up unless they can provide public or private security.
Faith Thomas said, I have autism, so be very careful how you use the word retarded. Well, I got autism and I'm retarded too. So I guess we're two peas in the pod. Oh boy.
Well, my sister was diagnosed with ADHD, but I'm pretty confident that she does have autism.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Usually when you got autism, you got superpowers. Like you can draw the New York City skyline from memory and shit like that.
Well, she's special. I have ADHD.
Read 3 books at one time with your eyes closed. It's all types of superpowers come with being autistic, apparently.
Is it?
Nah, I'm just making that shit up. Shout out to Cisco. Shout out to Cisco, sponsor for my channel this month. Appreciate you guys, man. Cisco is the mashup between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's security with Ethereum's flexibility. If you're a developer, blockchain developer, check them out. I'm sorry, Wendy, continue.
I just
Wendy's like, he says everything inappropriate.
It's fine. I mean, that's fine because if you are autistic, that's your business. But having ADHD makes me on the spectrum. My mom tells me that I have Asperger's. I'm just here at this point. You know what? I don't even know.
There's definitely something wrong with your ass.
I know there is something wrong with my ass.
Because you be getting fucking needles in your face and all types of other shit.
I know I need the Botox done because they're drooping.
Your ass gonna look like the Joker. You keep fucking around. Gonna walk around like you look surprised all day long. What's the Joker real name?
I don't know. It's been a day. Guess who I sat down with and interviewed yesterday?
Jack Napier. Who'd you sit down with?
You know the woman the famous sculpture that's in front of Wall Street, but I think they moved it, the Fearless Girl, the Bronze Girl?
Yeah.
I sat down with her yesterday on my channel and I'll release
that's a real person?
Yeah, she made it.
She made that little girl of herself?
No, it represents women that have worked in male-dominated industries.
I'm sorry. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. Oh.
You and my great aunt, let me tell you something. My great aunt was still alive. I would have linked you guys over phone. You would have absolutely adored her. You would be calling her every week to have her just be like, da, 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 because she was very smart. She didn't put up with anybody's bullshit. Even though she had one lung, she was legally blind. She lived on her own till she was like almost ready to pass away. She would call out bullshit like crazy. And she was
a real person.
This is my great aunt. She was with it.
This is a real person.
My great aunt, yeah, she worked in traditional finance.
Great aunt was Anne Frank.
No, we're talking about Sicilian. That's the other side. No, my 5th cousin was Einstein because remember I'm like super, super like smart.
Should never got started on that shit. Jesus Christ. So your aunt is blind. She got one leg and what? She knows how to fly. What'd you say?
She's in heaven now. My great aunt. My great aunt. She had a lot of health problems because she was a smoker. She worked in the banking sector, a chemical bank. She started sweeping floors, and they promoted her to teller. And she trained a lot of
floors. And she blind.
This because she got blind when she was old.
Okay. I was about to say, she's an expert sweeper. She's doing this shit blind.
No, she was actually very, very pretty. She traveled the world. She traveled to Haiti, to all over Europe, she lived life on her terms, but she worked in the
she had one leg?
No, she had one lung.
One lung. Okay.
Yeah.
One lung.
She was an untouchable though.
Was she? Sound like a G, man.
She was a G. She was. She walk around.
She could have been in Death Row Records too. Gangster.
You're so dumb. I went viral like 2 Sundays ago.
For what? What'd you do?
I had this toxic Bitcoin maxi on. Well, he's actually my friend. He's a pretty nice guy when he's not being crazy on the internet. And I had interviewed him about the whole Terra Luna thing. We were talking about this because he was calling the project out for a long time. We'll talk about that in a second. And this guy, the founder of Cardano, Charles, I'm not going to say his last name because I butchered it, but they took the clip of me butchering his last name. And then Corey calling it just a shitcoin. And there was literally a 10-second clip. The community was so mad at me because I didn't stand up for Cardano. I'm like, dude, I hold Cardano. I hold it. I'm just not going to imagine somebody coming on your show. You're interviewing them. You're having a conversation with them. They say something that you disagree with, but then you start yelling at them. You start yelling at them like,
who's doing that?
No, they wanted me to. They wanted me to interrupt him. I'm not going to interrupt my guest and tell him his opinion is wrong. I'm going to say I can disagree with you, but why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would I censor somebody? Fucking hilarious. So I was dying. I was like, you guys, I talk about your project. I say really good things about your project all the time. Shut up.
Yeah. Sometimes, like I've interviewed people in the past and they're like, I can't believe Hotep didn't push back on that point. And it's just like, I just didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like arguing with that. Maybe I didn't think it was important enough to argue about.
Well, and why would you argue with somebody that you're not going to change their opinion anyways? Yeah,
that too. I mean, I'm always up for like a good, healthy debate to flush out ideas. But sometimes like somebody says something I might disagree with, but I'm just like, I really don't feel like debating it because I don't think it's important enough to debate.
Well, the important thing is that about 2 minutes later, after I let him speak, I told him, I says, I do support altcoins. I support the innovation. And I think without altcoins, Bitcoin wouldn't be where it's at today. So I said something along those lines, but people failed to listen to that because they were so upset that I mispronounced his name, which I do a lot of that stuff on purpose.
Realize that? People wake up to find something to be mad at, right?
Oh, of course.
They literally like sit around and look on the internet for things to be mad about.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of strange.
It's fine with me. It's more money for me. The more subscribers I get, the more views I get, the more monetization I get, the more money I get.
Uh-oh.
And I told them that. They got mad. They get mad. So get mad at me all you want. I'm not going anywhere. I will always be the largest crypto female YouTuber in the world. So please keep getting mad at me and come back to my channel.
Money bag Wendy O in the building.
That's right. Because I dealt with some real shit in life, real stuff and in real life, not this internet BS, this imaginary fake stuff. Please come at me. Please.
They go that Death Row Records. Come at me.
Anyways.
So what happened with Lunacoin?
Oh, so let's talk about Lunacoin. So basically what happened, you have this project. It's called Terra Luna. People liked it. I bought it and I talked about it on my show because it was a top 10 coin. Why would I not buy a top 10 coin and trade it? Like those are generally the safest coins to trade. So I bought it. I made a moon bag. I disclosed to my audience. Well, they have a foundation, LFG, Lunar Foundation Guard or something like that. They were doing a bunch of shady shit. They had a bunch of deals with exchanges, a bunch of deals with different high level people in the space with VCs. They did this massive deal with these VCs where they got all this funding, and basically they got this funding. So they sold their token Luna, I believe, for OTC to a lot of these VCs. Nobody disclosed the vesting schedule as far as I can see. And they used this money that they got to buy Bitcoin, I think to fund their stable coin UST. So essentially an algorithm backed stable coin, buy Bitcoin and some other really weird things. And I told my audience, and I was on BitBoy's show and I said this too, because he's got a lot more audience members than I do. I said, there's something not right with this. I'm not interested in getting it. So I stayed away from their passive income platform. I stayed away from the stable coin, but I did invest in Luna because why would I trade? Why would I not trade something and make money with it? Like, that's my job, to trade the trends, part of my job. So what ended up happening, this stable coin that was essentially backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar, not backed by the US dollar, but a stable like the US dollar, depegged. So it dumped to I think 50 cents, maybe even lower than that. And so that crashed the entire market. And that's why we had Bitcoin dump all the way to $28,000, which I called on my show. And now we're kind of teetering at about between $31,000 and $29,000. And there was a bunch of really shady shit that happened. And now there's a proposal to to airdrop this new Luna that they're forking or doing whatever it is they're doing to people that were holding. But a lot of people lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like, it's really, the whole situation is really bad. So now we're going to have all this crazy regulation coming in because of these idiots. And I kind of think that it was all coordinated to get us to get really shitty regulation, to basically say that for the SEC to come in and say, oh, you guys aren't responsible enough to invest on your own. So we have to make laws for you. Because Gary Gensler said in the past, he said stable coins are like casino chips, which he's full of shit, because they're going to be taking USDC and making it the CBDC of the United States. Stable coins, yeah, there is a little bit of volatility there, but they're not necessarily like casino chips. Some of these really small ones, these weird ones, but the ones that have a large market cap, they're pretty stable for the most part. Yes, Tether did depeg, and I'm almost completely out of Tether, but at the same time, we're not talking about stocks plummeting, and the SEC isn't talking about stocks plummeting. They're not talking about all these other predatory things that they're doing. So they're just using it as an excuse. And if you take a step back and you follow the money with Circle and USDC, you can see that BlackRock invested $400 million into them. The guys from FTX are super backing it, like all this kind of weird shit. So it's a big mess. People are calling it a Ponzi, which kind of was, but the US dollar is a Ponzi too. I mean, what in this world isn't a Ponzi? Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the effects of that reverberate through the crypto community. I saw Bitcoin dump. I'm looking at Bitcoin dump, but the market's down as a whole. Like, I was just taking a look at Netflix stock. That had a high of like 6 something, and now it's down to like 1 and some change. So like, you can get Netflix stock for a steal right now. But yeah, I think now is a good time to DCA heavy. I would DCA daily at this point.
I wouldn't. I would wait, because if we are in fact in a bear market, which this is the hard thing for me, and people are my audience is pissed off at me because I'm like, I don't necessarily think this is a bear market yet. I think it's a bear cycle, and I still do think we are going to have that melt up.
But do you want to time the bottom though?
Well, hold up. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is this move was so manipulated. It was a black swan event. Like, we kind of knew we knew that we were going to get a correction.
Yeah, we knew that.
But we didn't know it was going to be this volatile and this fast. We had 8 weekly. Hold up. We had 8 weekly red candles on Bitcoin, which never happened before because of this Terra Luna thing. It just, something's not right. There's a lot of things that are making me very uneasy, especially we have the WEF meeting that happened in Davos. All this weird shit is happening. Basically, it's going to be an evil utopia in the United States and the rest of the world with all this crap that's happening. And when it happens, if we are in fact in a real Bitcoin bear market, this is not the bottom. The bottom will probably be, what is it, 69,000? What is 69,000? What's 80% of 69,000? Times 0.8.
56.
The bottom's gonna be like 13.8. So this is what I am doing. I have bids. I bought 0.25 Bitcoin at $30,000. I'm going to accumulate. My bids are heavier and heavier as we continue to drop. I'm going to accumulate a multi Bitcoin position, a few Bitcoin. And I'm going to keep buying the entire bear market. If we are in a real bear market, that's going to occur the next 2 years. And I'm going to swing trade it later and make a couple of years salary for myself. But I have bids set all the way down to $20,000. I don't want to DCA. Fuck that shit. The reason why I'm not DCAing is because I want control when I'm buying. I don't want a dollar cost average every month or every week or every day at 5 p.m. every day. I want to control the market. And that's why I set limit orders, is because I get to dictate what I'm buying Bitcoin at. I don't want to buy Bitcoin at 32,000. I don't want to buy at $40,000. I want to get dumped on. I want to buy at 20,000, at 10,000, 15,000, 30,000, 25,000. I want to buy at those increments at those levels. And I want to dictate the prices I buy it. I just don't want to be dollar cost averaging it.
Interesting strategy. We'll see how it works out for it, Dick. Let's see what happens.
That's fine. That's what I'm doing. And if I have to, like, let's say I feel like the bottom's coming and the bottom's only $20,000, I'll remove my my limit orders all the way down to 10, and I'll just deploy a bunch of capital and buy then and hold.
Yeah, I usually do limit orders. Like if I'm going to do a trade on a coin, I'll do a limit order. I'll do a limit buy, and then I'll do a limit sell, and it'll just sell like at some point in the future. And it's just like, oh, I made money on that coin. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tons of fun. So that's what's happening with the crypto markets. Is an absolute mess. It's an absolute shit show. It is what it is.
Well, the lesson here is for people to understand it's okay to make financial mistakes. It's okay to have collapses of companies, coins, cryptocurrency. This stuff needs to happen. This is part of being in a free market. Shit hits the fan sometimes. The bottom falls out sometimes. That's part of the free market. What we don't want is regulators coming in and regulating the market, because then it just hinders your ability to make a little cash and do well for you and your family. So what they like to do is they like to take incidents like this and then add the regulators, and then now nobody can get in the game, right? Or it becomes very expensive to get in the game, which means it's going to price out most people. And then the excuse they like to say is, well, people aren't smart enough to manage their own finances, so we have to help them with these regulations. And I believe, no, you have to let people make mistakes so they learn, and that's how they learn, right? You allow them to make the mistakes, and then they won't do it again. Yeah, so people may lose money. That's the risk you run, right? And I think if we allow people to make those mistakes, we'll have a more educated population.
I agree. And well, this is the thing. Part of the issue that we have is the SEC and the United States government. They like to come in and like to tell us what to do. And they're telling us that they're protecting us. My problem with that is it is mandatory for children to go to public school or to obtain schooling in the United States. It's pretty much mandatory. If you do not send your child to school or you don't homeschool, that is illegal. And there's basic classes you have to take. You have English, you have math, you have science, you have history. Why do we not have a personal finance course?
Yeah, that's true. Somebody in the chat said Luna didn't cause the Bitcoin crash, but I'm pretty sure it did, because what happened was people started realizing, I think the story came out and Coinbase was like, look, if we go bankrupt, you lose your coin. And then that's when everybody started pulling out. But I think that came on the heels of Luna. Like, I think it was like a domino effect type. It
was like the same week that it happened. It was a multitude of things. But what happened was people got scared. I got scared too, because I had a lot of capital in Tether, a lot of capital. So I woke up at 3 a.m. and I said, F this. And I moved my capital. I'm up at 3 a.m. It's just crazy. I'm deploying capital from one exchange to another exchange, and I'm flipping it to USDC. It was scary. I'm like, what happens if I lose?
They weren't tied to Tether though. They were tied to US something.
It was UST, but the point is there's a lot of Tether FUD happening. And the reason why I converted it, I'm out of 90% of my Tether. The reason why I converted it to USDC is because USDC has BlackRock invested, FTX is invested, and Sam from FTX, who is a friend of mine, he is also saying that he's pledging $100 million to regulate or to back political part to what was, I don't know the exact headline. You have to find it, but basically he's going to be giving that money to politicians who could potentially, bring in positive crypto regulation. But he already gave a bunch of money to the Biden party or those people. And that makes me uneasy because Biden scares me. He's like this seeing him around kids and stuff makes me feel uncomfortable.
She said watching Biden around kids makes her feel uncomfortable.
It does. As a parent, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like nobody, like my daughter knows if somebody touches her to kick them or to be like, hell no, get your, So there's weird things, but there's so many people that have money that are in the pockets of USDC. I mean, Tether's probably going to be okay, but I don't want to take that risk. It was a scary thing. It was a really, really scary thing. It was just a mess, but Luna did have a big impact on Bitcoin. Like it totally did. And it has a big impact on the market. It's all manipulated. It's super manipulated. Like this move does not feel natural any way, shape or form. Like if this person that in the chat that's saying that, if you actually go and you read the charts and you look at what's happening, it was a total black swan event. How are we going to print 8 red weekly candles on Bitcoin? We never did that before. There's a lot of fear in the market. When people are losing money, they make irrational choices.
Fat Buddha, oh yeah, I forgot about that. He said Luna did cause a crash because they were selling it Bitcoin on a daily in order to try to stabilize Luna and cause a panic attack. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was another aspect of it too. Yeah.
I think it was 80,000 Bitcoin that they sold.
Yeah.
And the reserve, something crazy. And it was, that even if it's OTC, it people get wind of it. So I don't even know. I mean, who even knows what really, really happened? Like, unless you can verify that shit on the blockchain. And I'm just kind of reporting on it. But now what they're doing to save Luna, like a lot of exchanges halted trading too, which is even crazier. They stopped the trading. Crypto.com stopped the trading and then they reversed the transaction.
Crypto.com shut down?
It didn't shut down. They stopped Luna trading for that.
Oh, they stopped.
Project.
Okay.
Like on the 26th or on the 16th or one of those days, don't quote me guys. You'll have to go check out an article or, the source. But one of the days they stopped trading, they didn't stop trading. They did what Robinhood did during that that AMC bullshit. So what happened was they says, oh, we're going to reverse the trades because all this stuff is happening. It's like, no, you don't. Once the trade is executed, it's executed. What's going on with you? So it just a mess.
Messy in crypto land.
Yeah.
Crypto is not for the weak. It is not for the novice. I tell, if people that want to get in the game, I tell them download Cash App, buy $10 a day Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. That's what I tell them. Depending on what your threshold is. But, $10 a week, something like that.
Don't use Cash App.
Why?
Why would you use Cash App?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't like Cash App.
What's wrong with Cash App?
I don't use it.
Oh.
I have a question. Well, because we have to go soon because my ass is tired. But I have a question for you. And this is a hot topic right now. Is the problem in America, is it mental health that's causing, is it mental health or is it evil people? I
spoke about this earlier. We all contribute to the mental health of individuals around us, just by how we carry ourselves. So we do affect people. However, we do not need to be held lawfully responsible for the actions of one crazy individual. And that person acted alone, acted on his own volition, and committed that horrific act. So in no way, shape, or form should that be a reflection of humanity in its entirety. Essentially, what that is an outlier, fringe part of our species that acts this way. But some people want to battle this with gun legislation. That's not the way to do this. You'd be better off trying to mitigate this stuff with prayer than you would trying to do it with law. But yeah, it's a tragic incident, man. It's a tragic incident. Shout out to Carmen Studer. What up, y'all?
But people are saying people are mad. They're like, well, you can't just keep blaming this on mental health issues. Like, when are you going to say that a person is evil? But a lot of people that do have mental health issues, there's a lot of evil there also from the mental health issues.
On the concept of evil, I feel like evil is a mental illness. That's just how I feel.
I agree with you, because people that are depressed or that are having, maybe they're talking to voices, they're bipolar, they're manic. Like earlier today, I was in like a manic state, and it's like I started getting really angry and not feeling well. So I went and I took a nap.
Yeah.
But it's like, and so that's when I feel like that's when the devil comes out. That's when the evil comes out. And I don't even want to use the term the devil, because people take that to a religious thing, but you could feel that ugly energy coming. So it's best to just take a step back. But some people are very weak minded and they're not able to control it due to some of the mental illness they have. So it's like, at what point in this world do we really kind of focus on mental health?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just looked up the term sociopath here, right? Sociopath is someone who has antisocial personality disorder, basically characterized as a long-term pattern of disregard or violation of the rights of others. When we think about evil and bad people, we know that the individuals who run our world, people might refer them as the ruling class or the elites. They're sociopaths. So they have a mental illness. Let's start there. Since a mental illness called sociopathic, and then you have whatever mental illness it is that it would drive somebody to commit a mass murder, is another type of mental illness. So when people say, "Oh, he had a mental illness," like, duh, like, who goes around shooting people?
Mm-hmm.
Of course he had a mental illness. Like, of course, like, duh. So it's not an excuse. It's just a fact of the matter, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are evil people in the world, but I feel like there's people that that do evil acts that aren't physically harming.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I've had more evil acts done to me that were emotional or mental than physical.
Sounds like you're talking about an ex here now.
Well, just people in general. I get trashed on the internet by specific people, and it's an act of evil that they're doing. So do we blame that on mental illness or them being evil people?
Well, they have a mental illness. There's something absolutely wrong with you if you log onto the internet and you bully a woman and call yourself a male. Like, bro, like, people know when you come onto my network, my Twitter network, I'm gonna ask you questions like, did you argue with strangers today? Would you argue with a stranger about? Did you argue with strangers about guns? Like, why are we arguing with strangers on the internet? And then men, why are you even like going toe to toe with a girl online? Like, bro, you should be way more productive. You should just be way too busy to be doing stuff like that. It's really odd behavior. It's definitely mental illness. I think it's called little dick disease.
LDD.
LDD. Little dick disorder. Willie Handy, thank you for the super chat. He said, will Auntie Wendy ever be added to the Hotep's Been Told You intro? Absolutely, yes. That'll be a thing soon. Dub Will 88 says psych med screwing with brain chemistry. Also true. Also true. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The best thing I ever did for myself was get off all my psych meds.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Thank God you're off those things. Because you are batshit crazy as it is.
I am. But I needed them for a little bit. I needed them as a crutch, and I did. And then I decided
perks, Xannies.
I was taking. Well, I was prescribed Prozac, like when I was.
Wow.
And that made me suicidal. Like, it was bad, really, really bad. But I ended up getting stabilized with Lexapro and then Xanax to sleep. But I had this one doctor that would give me like time release Xanax and all this weird stuff that they probably shouldn't have gave me. It was kind of scary. I didn't take it. But the Lexapro actually helped me stabilize for a little bit. And then I decided I wanted to have a child. So I quit taking everything and then whatever. And that was probably the best thing for me, was to get off of all of those meds. But I do think that for some people, psych meds can potentially help in the short term, but they're only to be used as a crutch for a little bit until you're feeling emotionally strong. Because let's face it, there's some things that happen to people. Like there's DV, there's SA, there's, tragic things. Some people might get held up at gunpoint. Some people might be physically attacked, might rob, and that could cause post-traumatic stress. So if you don't have a good network of people that can help you cope or get you the help you need or be there for you emotionally, sometimes, meds are okay in moderation if it's, whatever. But for me, there came a point in my life where I was forgetting things with Xanax. It just was something that wasn't making me healthy. But now I'm so much better and strong because I'm stronger mentally as a person, but I had to work for it. It wasn't easy. I had to work so hard to get to be in a very non-depressed state that I am today.
Well, thank God you've made it. You've arrived, and here you are on the Hotep Jesus channel. Now the only thing we gotta do is get you off the Botox injections and we'll be all right. Mental illness is going away slowly but surely, y'all.
On that note, I have to go wash my dusty ass hair because tomorrow, guess what?
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Lowe's. You know what she said her name is? You're gonna laugh.
Hotep Lowe.
Well, she calls you uncle. She does call you Uncle Hotep. She's going, are you going on my uncle tonight? Are you gonna be with Hotep tonight? Tell Hotep I said hi. She loves you so much.
Does she know there's an Uncle Hotep? And everybody calls me Uncle Hotep, calling me him.
She doesn't care. You are her Uncle Hotep, and she knows. The only way that she knows it's Wednesday, she goes, "Mama, you seeing Hotep tonight?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, that's Wednesday then."
Yeah, so she knows. That's love. That's love. So what's she doing tomorrow?
She has a school recital, which I'm very excited about, her spring concert, because they canceled the Christmas one. So now they have the spring concert. I got her new shoes. I got her new leggings. I got her a shirt. And so she's very excited to perform. Oh,
that's beautiful. Tell her I said what up. Good luck. Break a leg. And she going to kill it. Shout out to Raider in the chat. Raider's the man. That's dope.
Raider, I'll call you tomorrow when I'm feeling better. I'm tired.
Raider, I think I forgot to reply to your DM, but whatever it was, the answer is yes, except for traveling. Shout out to Carmen. Appreciate you. I can't get on another flight. If I get on another flight, I'm gonna kill somebody. It's gonna be a fight at United Airlines.
Dude, that was crazy. I saw that. I said, say what? I said, como que what? Could you imagine being an employee? Like, I don't know what happened, but you can't be putting hands on people. And how are you going to put hands on somebody that's bigger than you and not expect to get your ass whooped?
Listen, if I work for United Airlines, I ain't fighting nobody. The only person I'm fighting is my boss for a raise.
If I worked for United Airlines, I would have quit.
He was only pushing wheelchairs, too.
Oh, can I tell you about the story?
What?
It's an emotional. Should I just tell you next week?
Just tell me now. You already want to say it.
All right. Don't get bored. This is an important emotional story. As a happy ending.
I'll try not to let my ADD kick in. Just make it fast.
I mean your autism, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on the plane. I was sitting next to this big person that was just like, this person was a mess, like an absolute mess. They had dirty fingernails, like whatever. They're a mess. They didn't stink. Okay. So in the flight on the way home from hanging out with Snoop's people, I asked if I could change seats. I normally never do that ever. Never want to change seats because I just want to shut up and I want to get the fuck home because I miss my kid. But I saw other people moving. So I asked the flight attendant. She knew right away. She's like, you come sit next to this gentleman. I went and I sat down to this gentleman. This man reminded me of my father who's in heaven, my uncle who's in heaven, gave me the dad vibe. Like he and I started talking. He lived in Atlanta. He was talking about all the business that he built, his time in the military, his 13 brothers and sisters, his family, his friends, losing his dad, losing the mother of his children, how proud he is of his kids. He's like, have a drink with me, because he's like, I'm no longer a legally responsible parent. He's all, I love all my 5 kids. They all live with me, but they're all 18 and over. All his kids graduated school. They're all going to college. They're all doing so well. But the way he was talking to me, like I was one of his kids, or I showed him pictures of my daughter that was like his grandbaby, and he was talking about how he's always mentored the kid, like his kids' friends, and like just how he's everybody in his town in Atlanta, wherever he lives in Atlanta, they all call him dad and they all know who he is. And I believe his name was Dustin. So shout out to Dustin if you're watching this. Nicest man ever. Like it was a really good thing. So I'm so glad that I was able to move and sit next to him. And it reminded me of that conversation we had about blocking blessings, like how you keep, because this guy, he looked completely different than me, completely different than me. Like, who would have thought these two people sitting together would have shared such a really dope bond and had a great time? It was an 1.5-hour flight. We talked the whole entire time about our families and our lives, our trauma, like whatever. But you said to me, you says people are out here blocking their blessings. And that's basically not getting to know somebody or judging a book by its cover. I don't judge anybody by their cover until I get to know them. But it was the most beautiful experience I've had. And I felt close to my dad for the first time in a long time. So
that's beautiful. Did this conversation happen in the coach seats by any chance?
Yes.
Oh, so he was an unimportant individual. All right, I see you guys next week.
No, he actually, he is a very successful businessman. I mean, he's a very successful entrepreneur. He does a lot of the really thick bulletproof windows on a lot of the really big buildings. So, yeah.
Tell Richard cut the check. I'll bring him on the channel, and it better have a comma in there too. Yeah. What? Why are you making that face?
What do you know Uncle Hotep talking about tomorrow night? I've had it with you.
Shit. What aren't we talking about tomorrow night? Mass shootings and celebrity drama and oh my God, it's just Americans are a mess. Elections, Beto O'Rourke or something like that. Oh my God, we got a lot to cover. It's gonna be a wild show. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Good night.
Night, yo.
Bye.